All right, so for the first thing you're going to do is lay kind of your block out with all the pieces that you have cut. And these squares, you will need to, they are the background pieces. You're going to need to draw a line on the wrong side from corner to corner, because that will be our sewing line. So we're going to place this on the squares or on the rectangle pieces. Make sure they're going the correct direction. Now that I have my drawn line on the square and placed in the correct position on the rectangle, I'm going to sew on that drawn line and then cut off that triangle. If you'd like, you can stitch another line and you will have an extra half square triangle, but we don't need those in the quilt. So you'll just be sewing on the drawn lines. All right, so now I have them all sewn, and I'm going to just take my ruler and cut 1/4 inch past that drawn line. Then I can push these back and press them open. Just going to repeat that for all 4 pieces. If you had drawn or sewn that extra line, you can, or extra seam, you could cut those apart and you would have an extra half square triangles. I didn't this round, but you could totally do that for yours. All right, now we need to press them open. So I'm just going to take them and just push them open very gently. You don't want to distort them or pull them out of shape. And then just give them a good press. All right, now we can move on to the next step, is lay our block out on something that we can move to our sewing machine. So I just use the Steady Betty, works great. I'm going to lay my block out once more in the order that I'm going to be sewing it. All right, so the next step we are going to do is take it to our machine and we're going to sew these 2 squares together and then sew the top background to them. All right, now that we have our 3 pieces sewn together, we can then stitch the first petal of the flower block onto this piece. Because this is the Steady Betty, I'm able to press on this. So I'm just going to give it a quick press before moving on. All right, now you can see the next piece that we're going to sew on is our second petal for the flower block. Now this may be another different fabric. It could be scrappy, it can be whatever you want. They don't necessarily have to match. When sewing them together, we're going to make sure that our ends line up nicely. If you need to pin this to secure it, make sure it doesn't get stretched out of place. Go right ahead prior to sewing. All right, I'm going to give this another press. This block is super easy to make, and if you are making more than one block, you can do this process with them layered up. So you are chain piecing them, which makes the sewing go a lot quicker. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure that these ends line up. I'm going to pin them if I need and sew that. I'm going to open it up and give it a press. Make sure it's all opened up right. All right, now I have my last piece ready for the block, and I'm going to make sure that they line up properly, pin them to keep them straight if I need. All right, I'm done with this last leaf on the flower block. So I'm going to just press it. Now if I need to, I can square this block up, but I can check all the sizes to make sure that it is the correct size. I believe it's 8.5 unfinished is what we're looking for, and this looks pretty good. So that is how you make the flower quilt block for the Seasons of Friendship quilt.